What's up, gaming prigs? So today I'm gonna have like a overview slash review of the Persona series. And keep in mind that I don't have all the Persona games. I don't have, the PS1, like the first and second. And I don't have any of like the dance ones or the fighting ones. These are just the ones that I've personally played, and I'll go from there. So originally, back in the day, back when we were playing Call of Duty 4 and Halo 3, I decided to kind of play something different. So I actually pre-ordered Persona 3 back in the day at Game Crazy, and I got it. I wasn't expecting much, honestly. It was just like an anime game. I may or may not like it. I've heard of, past games, but, I just gave it a try, and needless to say, it ended up being one of my favorite games of all time. It was just so different. I remember trying to tell my friends about it and like what it was, and there was like, that sounds too bizarre. You're like high school students, joining sports clubs by day and fighting demons by night. But it actually was really fun, and I think number 3 is kind of what made the series, extremely popular. It was popular then, actually it's kind of more like a cult following, but since number 3, it's like became so mainstream. That's, I think, by far the most popular Shin Megami Tensei game in the series. And so yeah, played number 3, put like 100 hours into it, loved every bit about it. And then so I decided to go back and play the first ones afterwards, and luckily they released the PSP version of the first one, so I pre-ordered that, got it. It's kind of dated. The graphics are dated, but they've updated a little bit. There's extra stuff, but you can kind of see where the series started. It still had like the high school theme. It was all right. Wasn't the best. Then eventually I got number 2, which I think is a lot better than the first, but not nearly as good as the third. There's actually 2 parts for Persona 2. The PSP one in America only came with the first part. The second part came on PS1 here, called Eternal Punishment. And so it's the one I played. You play as the guy. Put like 50 hours into this one. It was pretty cool, I guess. But yeah, back to number 3. They came out with a director's cut called Persona 3 FES, which had like a bonus dungeon at the end. It says over 70 hours, or actually no, 30 hours of new content, which is a lot. I actually tried going back and replaying this game, but it's just too long. It was good though. I wish I started out with this version. I know many people did, and they had the better version to initially start with, which is cool. And then they came out with a PSP version that actually has more new stuff. This one you can actually play as a female protagonist, which is pretty cool. Gameplay wise, it's pretty similar. The combat, like the dungeon aspect of it, is largely the same, but the parts where you're during the day when in high school, it's more like a point and click adventure, which a lot of people didn't like, but I think it makes sense being that it's a portable game, so you kind of just quickly choose who you want to talk to and whatnot. So it's a very good version if you want to just play on the go. You can download it on your PlayStation Vita as well. Highly recommended. And then Persona 4. This one, I guess, kind of came out pretty late in the PS2 life cycle. I remember pre-ordering it, and I was kind of shocked that I could still buy a brand new PS2 game when like PS3 and 360 were like far into the life cycle. I remember getting it and being pretty excited, and I think it's just as good as number 3, and yeah, I think it's just as good as number 3. I think it's a lot more flashier. They actually have like a yellow theme to it, as opposed to kind of more like the darker gray theme of number 3. A lot of people actually started with number 4, I think, in the series, and they actually did spawn a PlayStation Vita version 2 called Persona 4 Golden, which is like a director's cut, kind of like Persona Fest is. This is kind of like the Fest version of number 4. You know, it has more content and whatnot, better graphics. Highly recommended. It works on your PlayStation TV, so you can play on the full screen in 720p, which is nice. And then lastly, number 5 is the one I currently just beat, you know, maybe like a couple weeks ago. I put like 115 hours into it. I think it's the best game in the series in terms of gameplay, in terms of mechanics, everything. Like Atlus really poured all their heart and soul into this game, and it shows too. Like the dialogue's very well done. It's funny. You know, there's so much to do, and like you have to play it at least 2 times to get most of, you know, the dialogue and the friendship and the social links and stuff. Very good game. I can see why people, you know, name it their game of the year. It would be mine. It's up there. It's between that and Horizon Zero Dawn, but I definitely think it's one of the better RPGs ever made, honestly. And yeah, that's my quick little overview / review of the series. You know, I haven't played them all. You know, I do plan to get like the dancing ones, you know, and the fighting ones too. I honestly don't know if I'll go back and play, you know, like Persona 2 Eternal Damnation, because those are pretty old games and, you know, they haven't aged well, but I'm glad at least I get to play the first part. But yeah, let me know what you think of the series and, you know, which game that, you know, you started out with initially, and comment below, give us a like, and I'll catch you later. Late!